When I began to think about fair share, it made me think about backpacking. As a parent of two boys, I was always drug into their adventures, and one of the adventures we started with them at a very small age was taking backpacking trips to the mountains. We started when they were about 6 and 4, pretty small. But the one thing that we always did when we went backpacking, everyone carried their own pack, and everyone carried their own personal gear, the things that they needed. That's what they carried along. But there was also group gear, things that the whole group needed to survive. And we would lay out the group gear and then divide it up, dependent on who could carry what, not depending on who wanted to take what item. So when the boys were very small, they carried their own little backpacks and their own little container of water and their own snacks and a little bit of the group gear. As they grew, we continued backpacking. We backpacked with Boy Scouts for many years, several times, and there was always the ritual of the group gear. How do we divide it up? The older they got, the more they could carry, the more responsibility they took for the group gear. It would be interesting to me now, as a grandparent of two grown sons who have children of their own, to think about taking yet another backpacking trip with them. They would have little bitty people who couldn't carry much of the group gear, and they're big old strapping men. They could carry a lot of the weight now. And their father and I, well, we're not as old as not as young as we used to be. We couldn't carry quite as much now as we did when we were younger. So when you think about that analogy and compare it to fair share giving, what are you able to carry for the group? That's what you need to think about. Not what do I want to put in my backpack? What am I able to do now to share the group burden so we can all have the benefit of a church that functions as a liberal religious voice in our community?